Kia ora koutou, Reese from QuickSense here, and today we're looking at the equation of the tangent. Now, one thing I like to do when I'm faced with any question of this sort is actually draw. And so very roughly, I've got my, my parabola, right? And the only reason I know it looks like this is because I have negative x squared. And then I have the line 16 minus 4x. So again, I know that's going down because it's minus 4. That's the gradient there. And it's meeting at this point here, which meets at a tangent. This here is t. So how do I find t? Well, t is made up of x and y, and we're going to use the equation of the tangent to determine this point. So firstly, the equation of the tangent, well, if I take the derivation, dy over dx of our y equals of the parabola, that will tell me what the gradient is at a certain point. Okay, and I know that at t, right, this is going to be my gradient. So I substitute that in, and I'm trying to find out what's the x value of t, remember. So I'm minus 4 from both sides, negative 8. X is equal to 4. So if x equals 4, well, I can substitute that into either equation. Right, x equals 4 can either go here or here to this equation. Let's put it into the linear equation. That's just a lot easier. Notice the brackets, such a good habit to get into. That's 16 minus 16, which is equal to 0. So t is equal to 4, 0. Now in this next question, we're given a lot of information, and we're going to have to use this to answer the question, which is finding the intersection point of the two tangents. So firstly, let's have a look at what our graph might look like again. And again, it's a negative parabola. And I've got one of these tangents is at the turning point, which means it's here, right? So if I drop a line, it's meeting at a right angle. And the second one is at 3, 4. Well, that could either mean it's here or right somewhere like here. We don't know yet. But that's sort of, let's just keep this in mind, right? Could be this, but that's kind of what we're looking for. And what we're after is this point here, right? That'll be my intersection point. And whether it is that on the left-hand side or the right-hand side, it's much for muchness at the moment. So the first thing I'm going to do is, what does turning point mean? The turning point is where the gradient is equal to 0. So what is my x value where the gradient, or remember, we can also say that this is dy over dx, when's that equal to 0? So the gradient of this curve looks like this. Substitute in 0. A little bit of maths gives me x equal to 1. Now if I know that x equals 1, well, what's y? Well, I'm going to substitute 1 into that original equation because I know that the form of the line, right, that is a horizontal line, is y equals something. So what is y when x is 1? So we've got our first equation. Right, this here, well, let's just do that like this. Y equals 8 corresponds to my straight line. My next tangent is the tangent that meets at the point 3, -4. And the first thing to keep in mind is that this one is going to have the form y equals mx plus c. And I need to find, right, well, I've got x, I've got a y, what I don't have are m and c. But actually I can find m by finding the gradient, right? So dy dx, well, I've got that x, right? I can use that again in here. So what's that equal to? It's 6 minus 3 lots of 6, which ends up being -12. So if m, or dy dx, equals -12, then I can substitute all of that. Right, let's just make that obvious. I can substitute all of that into my equation. So y, which is -4, is equal to m, which is -12, x, which is 3, plus c. I've got c all by itself now, so I can figure out what it is. So if I add 36 to both sides, I get a Freudian slip, 32, and that's what c is. So y is equal to -12x plus 32. Now this leaves me at the last position I need, right? And actually I can tell, based on this part, -12, that my original tangent should have been sloping downwards, not upwards. So I got it the wrong side at the start. But what does that mean? Well, I'm going to solve this simultaneously. I have my two equations, y equals 8, and y equals -12x plus 32. I set them to be equal to each other. Right? That's what it means to intersect. And I'm going to solve this as a linear equation. So what's the intersection point? Well, the intersection point is at 2, 8.